All right. Hello and welcome. This video is all about Tribal Training Mug Club. I'm going to tell you what Mug Club is, how you can achieve the exclusive membership, and I've got some cool photos here that I'm going to walk through. I got a couple of videos as well, some behind the scenes on this whole project that is one of my favorites inside of Tribal Training. And we're just going to hang out for a little bit. I'm going to tell you the story of the whole deal here, pretty much. So, to set the scene, to set the stage, what is Mug Club? Mug Club is the exclusive club that you become a part of if you do the Team Ironman with Tribal Training. That's entry. That's what you got to do to get in. And once you do the Team Ironman, what you get is a custom handmade mug by my potter, Mark, in Niwot, Colorado, that is inspired by the race that we do. It's got themes from Tribal Training, themes from the race, and every single mug is unique. And as I'm looking at my video here, I got the two mug clubs sitting right on my shelf. So let me just give you a sneak peek preview on what we're going to be talking about today. So here is this mug from 2023 Ironman Florida. And then I got some trinkets in the 2022 Ironman Florida mug here as well. And the whole idea of this was like, I just saw that people were doing Ironmans, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like I could do something cooler than just like the standard free t-shirt that they get and the finisher medal. And I'll tell you where all of this started. Back in September of 2022, about 3 months before the first Team Ironman, my wife, Chelsea, and I, we went out to this pizza spot in our town here in Colorado. And we just thought it was a random Saturday night. And we show up to Main Street, and the whole street is closed down, and there's a massive art festival going on. And we're like, holy cow, this is a freaking sweet little setup. There's a ton going on here. And we had like 45 minutes to kill waiting for our name to get in at the pizza spot. So we're like, sweet, we'll just walk around. We'll check it out. And we come up on this lady who has these handmade coffee mugs. And this also happened to be the week that we found out Chelsea was pregnant with Jack Jack. So it was like, we're having a baby week. I had just done a 70.3 Harvest Moon 70.3 that morning here in Colorado. It was 46 degrees. It was a miserable, pissing rain race day. I had like the most challenging day of my whole life. It was just so brutal to be out there, but didn't quit. I was like, I'm going to be a dad. I can't freaking quit in this race. It's pissing rain. It's 46 degrees. I'm freezing. But I finished the race, and we were going out in the evening to basically celebrate. And so we come up on this lady who's got these coffee mugs, and I'm like, oh, this would be so sweet. Like, let's get a coffee mug to celebrate baby week. Like, this is the week we find out we're going to become parents. And I love this mug that this lady's made. And I get this idea. I'm like, ooh, what if I got these mugs made for the tribal training athletes who are going to do Ironman Florida? And so I asked this lady if she'd be able to take on a custom project. And she's like, oh, I might be able to. Like, here's my card. Send me some info, and we'll connect this week. And so I'm like, okay, awesome. Sounds like this could happen. And a couple of days go by, I end up talking with her, and she's like crazy overwhelmed by the project. She's like, I'm not going to have time to do it. I'm not going to be able to handle that many mugs. I'm like, it'll be about 8 mugs. She's like, I'm not going to be able to do that many. I'm like, okay. She's like, but I might have somebody in my pottery community that might be able to take it on. And I'm like, oh, okay. But at that point, I kind of think, like, I don't know, the idea is maybe fizzling out. I'm like, I have no idea who this other person is. I have no idea their mugs. I saw this mug that you made. I liked this one. I thought we'd roll with this, but maybe it's just not going to work out. Well, anyway, I end up getting a phone call like a couple days later, and it's this guy, Mark, and he's like, "Hey, so and so passed over your contact info. I heard you're looking for some custom mugs. I think I'd be able to do it for you." I'm like, "Oh, sweet. This is what I got going on. My guys are doing an Ironman. I want to do something special for them. They're all first timers, and we're all coffee heads. And so I'd like to bring something cool to life for him." And he's like, "All right, well, why don't you come by my studio and we can talk a little bit and I can show you some of the options of mugs that I make and kind of what I do." So I'm like, sweet. So I look up his studio. It's probably 8 miles from my house. And so I've got a bike ride one day and I decide I'm just going to go ride over and stop at Mark's studio. And so I pull up and I got a picture here of my bike on the left here that's right at his little pottery studio sign. I see this. I'm like, this is such a interesting little setup. Like I was kind of thinking it was going to be a storefront. He's like telling me, "Oh, it'll just sort of be behind my house." I'm like, I don't really understand what he means by that. So I come up, I park my bike, and all of a sudden, like I'm just following this trail. And this middle photo, his house is sort of the trail that darts off to the left here. And around to the back, I see this little hut of a studio. I'm like, this is interesting. What do we got going on here? I feel like I'm like entering a different world. So I walk up to this studio. I take a picture here of just the front door, and it's just this tiny little shack of a house, one floor, can't be more than a couple hundred square feet. I'm like, let me see what is going on inside. And let me click here to the next slide, and I'll show you what the inside of this. All right, so here are some photos from inside of Mark's studio. And I'm walking into this place, and I'm like, this is the coolest freaking place that I've ever been. He's got like this wheel on the right. That's where he spins everything he makes. Photo of it on the left as well. And then he's got just these shelves of all of these different pots and bowls and mugs and plates and all these different things. And so instantly I'm like sold. I'm like, I'm doing this. We're going to get these mugs made for the Ironman Florida guys, and they're going to freaking love it. And these are going to be the coolest things that I've ever seen in my life. So the process that we get into is he's basically like, why don't you pick out a couple of mugs that you like and call out some qualities of them, and then I'll just make you guys fully custom mugs and whatever designs you want on them. That's totally cool. Make it work. And so I'm looking at like this wall of pottery that he's got. I'm just like taking in the whole scene. And ultimately, just picked out a certain like shape of a mug that I liked because he had all kinds of different shapes: small mugs, big mugs, really, really round mugs, kind of like vertical mugs. So this, we're getting back to the 2022 version. This was the shape that I picked out that I really wanted. I got a Harry Potter wand in here. My All Worlds athlete badge is in there too. Here we go. And this is what I told him about what I wanted to see from this mug. I was like, all right, the Ironman is in Florida, so I'd love to incorporate the beach in some way. So if we could do almost like a sand colored mug, and then also if we could include like tribal markings that really mimic the markings that are on the kit. That was basically the direction that I gave him. And then he whipped up 8 of these mugs that all had like different markings, all had slightly different like drip profiles that you can see here. And these just came out freaking awesome. And so we go down to Florida, right? All guys do the Ironman. We go 8 for 8 at Ironman Florida, burst onto the scene. And then a couple weeks later, once everybody's home and settled, shortly before Christmas, I basically got to send out these mugs and surprise the guys with a note that basically says, "Congratulations on your new membership in Tribal Training Mug Club. And you just joined the club by finishing the Team Ironman. And you just earned this commemorative mug where every single freaking morning that you drink out of this thing, you get to think of who you became in this process of becoming an Ironman. You get to think about how not only did you develop as a swimmer, a biker, and a runner, but you figured out better communication with your family. You figured out better scheduling and prioritization of your time. You said no to things that weren't serving you. You set an audacious freaking goal that a lot of people around you may have doubted that you could do, but you stayed convicted in your mission, man. And now you get this freaking rad mug to just reflect on that experience and remind yourself of what you're capable of as you're sucking down coffee in the morning. So that was really the idea of it and how this first initial launch came to life. But now, as we did Ironman Florida 2023, second go around, had to run it back and do it again. So let's get to another slide that shows some more pictures here. All right, boom. So photo on the right there, we got the 2022 and 2023 mugs chilling on my back patio. Here's the 2023 mug. Before I explain this, though, on the left, we got the kiln that these things are fired in, which that thing probably gets up to, I don't freaking know, 1,000 degrees or a couple thousand degrees, something crazy. And that's Mark. That's me and Mark. That's me picking up the 2022 Ironman Florida mugs. And then the mug this year. So I wanted a slightly different shape, right? I didn't want to just mimic the exact mug from 2022. So we went a little bit rounder. And this 2022 mug, it kind of has like this almost like matte texture to it. And so I decided to switch it up and go with a little bit of gloss on this 2023 mug. And what I really wanted to embody in this mug was the idea of the ocean. So we've got the color of the ocean here, right? And then we've got like almost these like Japanese art style waves that are ripping around the bottom. And then my other vision was to include these tribal markings that almost would look like constellations in the sky. That was really the idea here. And then a little tough to see on the video, but it's got like this. I got my freaking CO2. So this is what I use these. So he always makes an extra mug for me in case one breaks. So I got 2 mugs of each of these. So I got mugs inside that like I drink from all the time, but then I also got these spares. And so this is what I use these for. This one has all my CO2 for all my flat tire fixings. But inside of this, kind of hard to see, but you almost got like a purple drip that's really cool. I thought it was really cool how he had like the spacing of this blue behind the handle. And so this is Mug Club, man. And this is just a really fun project that I got to bring to life. I think that if you own a business and if you want to bring cool shit to life, you shouldn't limit yourself on what that can be. Oh, good lesson on this one. I'll actually tell you what this is. So this actually was the starter mug that I was drinking out of. But one day, my wife, Chelsea, she was unloading or loading the dishwasher, and this mug clipped the counter. And you can kind of see in the video, it's cracked actually. But I was able to just get some super glue and piece it together. But there's a good stoic lesson that I leaned on immediately. And there's a stoic lesson that says the mug is already broken. And it's the idea that you shouldn't be attached to material things, and you should put like your faith and your conviction in who you are as a person and not anything external. And listen, if you've got some mug that you're obsessed with, and if the mug breaks, you can't be brokenhearted about that. So kind of a hilarious lesson here because I am a little bit emotional about how much I like these mugs. So it was really nice that, hey, I was able to super glue this one, and not a huge issue that the mug that was holding my Harry Potter wand and my all-world athlete little badge has a little bit of a crack in it. But overall, that's Mug Club, and I'm rolling with that year over year. So Mark, he's a stud. Oh, let me go ahead and I got to show the videos of the studio. Come on now, RVD, let's go. All right. So this is a video that I took. So when you walk into his studio, that first photo that I shared, right, where it's that red little house, you walk in and the first room is like a showroom. And so you can see some of the things that he's got for sale here are on these shelves. And then you walk around back and this is where the actual studio is. So let me show you what it looks like to just come into this spot. It is really just so rad. All right. Tribal Training Mug Club. We got Mark, our custom potter. And we got the custom mugs to commemorate Ironman Florida. Wow. So freaking rad. So cool. Sweet. All right. Tribal Training Mug Club. Pause there. Sweet. So that's what it looks like when you're walking into the studio. And then I got another video here of how the 2023 mugs went out. All right. So this is the Mug Club presentation for the 2023 guys. So I got all these mugs safely bubble wrapped up. Got a little card, a membership card sent out for these guys, and just got to make it a dope little present here. And so listen, let's think back to what this really is. If you are doing, let me pause this here. All right, so let's get back to what we're doing with these, right? Because listen, if you're doing an Ironman and you're not part of tribal training, what are you getting? Well, you're getting the finisher t-shirt and the medal. That's pretty cool, right? I got all my medals hanging up over here. But you know what's even cooler? A custom freaking handmade mug to commemorate you training all year for an Ironman. You doing it with a group of homies. You guys hanging out, race week, meeting up on the beach. Your family's getting to know each other, doing the tune-up sessions pre-race, having the tribal training team dinner a couple nights before the race, everybody waiting at the finish line. And you get this mug to remind you of who you became in the process. So that's what Mug Club's about to me. It's a fun project that I get to do, especially end of the year. Rip down an Ironman in November. Get to send these out around Christmas. Very, very special. So listen, if you've watched this far and if you want to become a part of Mug Club, you know the deal, man. It's April 7th, 2024. November, we'll be back in Ironman, Florida to solidify the three-peat and the tribal training dynasty. And we've got more athletes than ever doing the race this time. We had 8 in year 1. We had 6 in year 2. I believe that we'll have 10 in year 3. So if you want to be a part of Mug Club, you know what you got to do. Let's go, man. Thanks for checking this out.